Marcus Licinius Crassus, the richest man in Rome. In the grand theater of Rome, where power and wealth intertwined, there was one man who cast a shadow over all others, Marcus Licinius Crassus, a man whose wealth was legendary, whose political ambitions were immense, and whose military endeavors would forever alter the course of history. His name would become synonymous with fortune, influence, and an insatiable hunger for power. A man whose life was as grand as the empire he sought to dominate. The wealth of Crassus, a legacy. Carved in gold, born into a family of old Roman nobility, Marcus Licinius Crassus inherited both a sense of duty to the Republic and a natural ambition that would drive him to unimaginable wealth. But Crassus's fortune did not come from noble birth or inherited titles. It was forged through a series of shrewd investments and ruthless dealings that made him the wealthiest man in Rome. Crassus's fortune was founded on his extensive property holdings, his business dealings, and his ability to manipulate the political and economic systems of Rome. He was a master of acquiring real estate at bargain prices, particularly in times of crisis, buying up land devastated by fires or war at pennies on the dollar. The triumvirate, a bond of power and ambition. Despite his immense wealth, Crassus yearned for more political influence. He sought out alliances with men of equal ambition, and thus, alongside Julius Caesar and Pompey, he formed the first triumvirate. This political alliance, born out of mutual necessity, would allow them to control the Senate and shape Rome's future. While Crassus provided the financial resources, Pompey contributed his military might, and Caesar's political genius helped secure their dominance. Together, they would exert tremendous control over Roman affairs. The greatest challenge to Crassus's authority, and indeed to the Republic itself, would come not from his political foes, but from the rebellious slaves led by a man named Spartacus. The slave revolt, Crassus and Spartacus. In 73 BC, a small band of gladiators, led by the legendary Spartacus, broke free from a training school in Capua, launching a rebellion that would grow to become one of the most formidable uprisings in Roman history. The slaves, driven by the desire for freedom and led by a leader who was both charismatic and brilliant, swept through southern Italy, defeating several Roman legions. The Republic, unprepared for such a revolt, found itself on the brink of chaos. Crassus, desperate to regain his military prestige, go and prove himself worthy of Rome's admiration, was appointed to crush the rebellion. The war was long, and Crassus, though powerful and wealthy, was faced with a force unlike any he had encountered before. Spartacus's army was not merely a rabble of slaves. It was a disciplined and highly motivated force, capable of winning battle after battle. Crassus, frustrated by the mounting failures, resorted to brutal tactics. In a desperate move to break the stalemate, Crassus ordered his men to build a fortified trench, forcing the slaves into a confined position. The final confrontation, the Battle of the Sila River. The final battle between Crassus and Spartacus took place near the Sila River in 71 BCE. Outnumbered and outmaneuvered, the slaves faced their doom. Crassus's forces, bolstered by reinforcements and the wisdom of years of military experience, slowly encircled Spartacus's army. In the end, Spartacus was killed in battle, and his men were either slaughtered or captured. The surviving rebels were crucified along the Appian Way, their bodies serving as a grisly reminder of Rome's brutal power. For Crassus, the victory was both a triumph and a necessary evil. His name would be forever linked to the defeat of the greatest slave revolt in Roman history, and his wealth, influence, and reputation would grow even more. But it was a victory that came with a price, an unsettling realization that Despite all his power, he was unable to conquer the hearts and minds of the Roman people. The death of Crassus, the final act. Crassus's ultimate fate would come in 53 BCE at the Battle of Carrhae. As he led his legions into battle against the Parthian Empire, his overconfidence would prove to be his undoing. Despite his vast fortune and political power, Crassus's military ineptitude, combined with the treachery of his commanders, would result in a crushing defeat. Crassus himself was killed, his head sent to the Parthian king as a grim trophy. Thus ended the life of one of Rome's greatest and most tragic figures. Crassus's wealth and military prowess had brought him to the pinnacle of power, but his downfall came not from poverty or weakness, but from the very ambition that had driven him all his life.